I'm Bob Joseph. Today is Wednesday, August 12th, 2026. I am now officially opening the top secret phone lines. The official number is 607-772-1290. All viewers are welcome to call and express their opinions. WNBF. It's Wednesday here at the WNBF fabulous station. It's just fabulous. It's fantastic. When only the best will do. Oh my gosh. I love local news. You know, I can't be first with every story every time. I can be first with some stories some of the time, but some of these reporters are they're very aggressive, which is good. Aggressive reporters are good. So congratulations to the journalists in Binghamton who are getting it done. I concede. I can't be first with everything. Some people, obviously, have probably better sources than I. Doesn't mean I'm giving up, though. If anything, if somebody gets a scoop on me, that means I'll just have extra ice cream tonight to console myself. It's 9:13. Let's go to the red hot phones. Dave from Vestal, you are on the program.
Good morning, sir. Bob, you know, I did some thinking last night, because Gary called after I did. And, you know, there is some truth to what he said, Bob. The country is getting fed up with both parties. I myself, I am getting fed up with quite a few people in my party. So, yeah, there's truth to that, Bob. But one thing that he said is that the young people are looking for something new. And, Bob, socialism has been around for centuries. That's not new. And these teachers need to tell them in college, Bob, but it's like a 99.9% failure. It doesn't succeed. So stop going for it. And, Bob.
Well, it hasn't been tried in Binghamton. So if Binghamton wants to try it, and I'm not recommending it, I'm just pointing out, has yet to be tried in Binghamton, they ought to start free bus rides, government-run grocery stores, and free health care in Binghamton, and start it September 1st and have a 10-year trial program and see if it works.
But Bob, he made some good points, and here's a good question of the day for you, Bob, if you want to use it. Is the country finally ready? And I mean, it would have to be grassroots with small donations and everything, not some billionaire jumping in saying, I'm going to start a third party. Is the country getting closer, or are they even ready now, for a bona fide third party, Bob? You think so?
No. This country is not even ready for two parties. This country has a uniparty. It's the Republicans or Democrats or whatever. It's one party. Look at Congress. Look at Congress. Does Congress really engage in legislating good stuff, or are they basically protecting the status quo? I don't care if you're talking about Republicans or Democrats. Basically, it's protecting big business and billionaires and even a trillionaire. That's what Congress exists for. I mean, they can go through all their antics on C-SPAN, but in the end, the proof is in the pudding. You and I are not on their list of concerns. They're concerned about billionaires, one trillionaire, and also protecting big business. And that's why we have a Congress.
But wouldn't over time a third party replace those people in Congress?
No, we mean over time, over the next 250 years, maybe, but we're not going to be around. We're talking about the here and now, as in looking ahead for the next, let's say 25 to 30 years, which applies for most of us. Some of our younger listeners may be around for another 50 or 70 years, but say for a lot of us, we should look forward to the next 3 decades. Is it going to happen in the lifetime of most of our viewers? Absolutely not.
They have always said money is the main reason why.
It is. Money talks, no one walks. And, just for his detractors to make it sound like Donald Trump is the only person motivated by money, I'm sorry, so is AOC. So is Bernie. So is Katie Wilson. They can call themselves Democrat Socialist. In the end, it's still about the money.
Well, if they do want something new, Bob, they better quit chasing socialism because that's old.
No. And with the AOC, suddenly everyone is saying AOC is definitely going to be the Democratic candidate for president, and I can see why. A lot of people are disenchanted with, the status quo. It doesn't mean she'll win, but I think she could give J.D. Vance a run for his money. I think it's going to be a great campaign. I'm looking forward to the debates. You could say this about AOC and J.D. Vance. They're a lot smarter than the average bear.
Bob, you know what? Let's put it in perspective. Kamala would beat her in a debate. What's that tell you?
I disagree, but you're entitled to your opinion. I respectfully disagree. All right, thanks for your call. Always a pleasure. It's Bob Joseph here at the radio station. Let's move on from Vestal to Binghamton. James, you're on the air.
Hey, Bob, how you doing this morning?
Super duper. Yeah. I am superest and duperest.
Man, I can't wait to call in and just talk about local stuff. But no, I like Dave's idea about or asking about a third party. But let's break a few things down here. Oh, by the way, no, I think Harris would probably win it. Well, whether or not you think Kamala Harris is a great candidate or agree or disagree with her policies, her experience as an actual prosecutor, a trial, lends to her probably having some more honed skills in the realm of actually just the mechanics of debating. But that's another topic. No, here's the thing. Dave, you want a third party. Stop voting for the people who are trying to grind ranked choice voting to halt in its tracks. Because of our first across the line electoral system, we could say we want a third party all we want. And, sometimes it could be, tempting. I think Ross Perot is the only one that really gave that a shot at the presidential level. I know before I was born, there was his name Anderson?
John Anderson.
John Anderson.
Yeah, he I think was running in the 1976? I think he
80,
ran.
I think too. No?
Or maybe 80. Yeah, I guess it was 80. It was John Anderson, an independent, and Jay Carter and R. Reagan. And in that three-way race, R. Reagan, of course, because he was the communicator. And I'll tell you, the main reason a lot of people, a lot of people won't acknowledge the key reason for his dramatic victory over Jay Carter in 1980 was because he was a former radio guy. He was a former news guy and sports guy on the radio at WHO in Des Moines. So voters tend to look favorably on broadcasters.
Yeah. Anyway, so we have a first across the finish line, if you will, electoral system. It's very binary, whether you want it to be or not. So people are going to naturally filter to one side or the other. There are other options or solutions out there. They'd probably take would they take constitutional amendments? I don't think so. Another option, if you wanted the rise of third parties, would be would be to move to a parliamentary system for our Congress, where you vote for a party and then the percentage of that party that gets the votes gets that allocated number of seats. On a smaller level, actually, there's one facet about, and this is super nerdcore, New York politics that I believe is consistent, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. I believe New York is the only state that has cross-party nominations for elections, as in the third party or the minor, policy party, maybe whether it's Working Families or Green Party, whatever, can actually endorse the mainstream candidate. People in New York take for granted that you can't do that in most, if not all, other states. So you're pretty much just throwing your vote away, even at state and local levels. Anyway, my point is, yes, I would love to see, just like Dave said, third parties or more options for voting. But like my man, you keep voting, supporting for the people who make that harder. And I might also add the same people who put Supreme Court justices into place to derail bipartisan campaign finance reform bills that lead to all the dark money that we see. If you don't want politicians making all this money, stop voting for the Republicans, at least for right now. But I'm definitely on board with Dave, your long-term notion of we need to be able to have more diversification of thought within our electoral system. But
what do you think about AOC? Is AOC electable?
Oh, yeah, I think so. It depends. We're going to be really digging in the margins here, but we have to see where and that's the other thing. We need to abolish or work around the Electoral College to a national popular vote. But even with the Electoral College setup, that question my answer to your question might change depending on whether or not that election is 2028 or 2032, based on whether or not she just needs to hold the former blue wall of Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, which I think if she sticks to, labor and consumer-based messaging is should be pretty easy to do. But yeah, I mean, I always wonder about someone going directly from Congress obviously we can look at anomalies like Trump being a celebrity or Eisenhower being a general.
Well, I don't like talking about Ike, but let's not talk about. Did you see Trump? He was so afraid that he was willing to sacrifice little Marco and 13 journalists so he could slither out of Turkey on a secret plane. But that's a topic we'll touch on later. Thank you, James. I was stunned. Here I thought he was full of courage. And it turns out not so much. 924, Bob Joseph, the voice of the people on WNBF.
Mike.
Oh, hi. Is this thing really on?
The following is paid for by KSO Insurance Solutions. Providing you with the best solutions of your lifetime. The KSO Insurance Weekly Spotlight with Karen Sweet O'Neill on News Radio 1290 WNBF.
In the Spotlight, Karen Sweet O'Neill.
Good morning, Bob Joseph.
Good morning to you.
Thank you. It's a beautiful morning.
Just fantastic.
Mm-hmm. No smoke from Canada. We'll take that.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far. Yes, smoke is starting to get in from our Canadian neighbors and also from Spokane. The smoke is starting to arrive. The air quality is now moderate.
Really?
It's no longer good.
Oh,
so the air quality, for those who like to breathe, I recommend that you reduce your breathing until further notice. Yeah, the air quality index now is at 53. And according to some people, many people, in fact, are saying it's going to get a lot worse. So for those who like oxygen, stock up now at your favorite oxygen retailer.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It's crazy, man. It never was like this in the past.
No. Oh, well, nothing stays the same. That's what Dad says. Nothing stays the same, and he is right.
Who really needs oxygen or clean water?
It's overrated.
Yeah. Just give me gasoline and diesel, or give me death.
Oh, that's defeat. So let's talk about nothing staying the same. And, of course, in the Medicare world, Bob, nothing stays the same. And it's going to be changing again come this fall. But the reason we're going to start talking about this particular plan now is because we want people to be aware that they should pay attention to any mailings that they receive come September and maybe October. So CMS, which is the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, they run the show on Medicare. And on July 28th, it came out with an announcement saying that they were going to conclude the Part D premium stabilization demonstration program. And what is that? It's a program that's aimed to help mitigate costs of prescription drugs. So by saying that, of course, it sounds really negative, that this could be a very big impact on the consumer, people that are on Medicare, standalone Part D prescription plans. However, the jury's out on that so far because the stabilization program impacted premiums somewhat, but it more impacted prescription drug costs, copays, and of that nature. So what is happening is the program, instead of subsidizing the insurance companies, going to try to move forward and help the consumer, the beneficiary, the Medicare beneficiary, straightforward. So what does that mean? Well, we don't have the numbers yet because, of course, they trickle out in August and September and early October, so we'll stay on it. But many instances, your premiums for standalone Medicare Part D prescription plans may go down. They may go up. If they go up, they're quoting that it may only be around $10 more a month. But it's interesting because just 2 years ago, Bob, the lowest Part D prescription plan, and that's a plan that the government calls voluntary, but it really isn't because you get penalized if you don't buy one. So if you're on original Medicare A and B, and perhaps a supplemental as well, then you need to have a Medicare Part D prescription drug program. So 2 years ago, one of the lowest ones was around $3.40 a month. And now the lowest one in our area is $43 a month. Well, that's a pretty big hike. And on top of that, what we are seeing is a reduction of options and choices that these consumers can pick from to hopefully get a lower premium or lower copays on their drugs. So it used to be we had 15 in our area. We are now down to, I think this year was 10. That's also a big reduction. And you want the competitive nature of these products because if you don't have competition, then they run the show. And they basically run the show anyway. But what we're going to see coming forward is will these out-of-pocket expenses that are capped this year at $2,100, what does that mean? If you are on a very expensive drug or many expensive drugs and your copays reach $2,100 for the remainder of the year, and this is, of course, this year, 2026, you have zero copays. So that's a very, very good thing. Will that out-of-pocket go up? Probably about $100, $200. So we're probably looking at about $2,300, but at least there's a cap on it. So the jury's out on exactly what's going to happen, if we're going to see a reduction in choice, a increase in premium, or a reduction in premium, and also how this is probably going to push a lot of people into Medicare Advantage plans because many plans with Medicare Advantage, you aren't paying a specific premium for your Part D. In many instances, it's a zero premium. So stay tuned, and we'll be talking about this, and we will certainly inform our listeners as soon as we hear of any additional changes, and, of course, there will be. We are at 1708 Vestal Parkway East, up above Plato's Closet and Style Encore. You can reach us several ways for an appointment. You can simply give us a call at 607-772-4898. You can Google us at KSO Insurance. All of our contact information comes up, including our website. You may make an appointment that way. And if you missed the phone number, we are at 607-772-4898. And we are starting to book for open enrollment, which is October 15th through December 7th. So it's never too early to get your appointment so that we can make sure we can see you at that point.
All right.
Okay?
Well, there you go.
Get all that?
No, but
that's why we're here.
Well,
that's why we continue.
The other thing is, I record it so I can listen to it later. See, I'll listen to it later at home. See, while you're on the air sometimes, I have administrative tasks that I need to do, but it's with the knowledge that later this evening, when I'm out on the deck enjoying a beautiful evening, then I can put the tape into my cassette recorder and play it back, and that way I can give it my undivided attention instead of being here at the station multitasking.
Understood. Cassette recorder.
I love those cassette recorders.
Oh, my gosh. I still have cassettes from when Mary, my daughter, was little and would go on the air with me at different holidays with Roger Neal.
See, and I still remember they used to call them compact cassettes. Compact cassettes. And if I wanted to record music, I would buy the expensive ones because music requires the highest quality cassette. But sometimes if I was just recording talk shows or news programs off the radio, like on WNBF with Bill Parker or Tony Russell or John Leslie or Bill Lau or Brenda Wrigley, people like that, sometimes I would just buy the inexpensive cassettes. You could buy 3 for $1. And as they say, as is true with everything in life, whether you buy cassette tapes or Lamb Speedies, you get what you pay for.
You know, there's a lot to be said about that statement.
Because
and I totally agree.
Yeah, there's probably some guy selling a pound of Lamb Speedies somewhere in Broome County for $10 a pound, telling you better to pay $20 a pound and get good Lamb Speedies, you know, that were developed and delivered through reliable sources as opposed to those $10 a pound Lamb Speedies. Who knows? Who knows how they got here? And who wants to know?
I don't.
That's, you know, talk about
I don't want to know that.
The stuff of nightmares. You send those $10 a pound Lamb Speedies to RFK Jr. Let him have it.
You know, he can dissect them and figure it out.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows what he'd probably dump them off in the middle of Central Park, knowing him. I'm kidding.
I don't think you can predict anything with anybody anymore.
I love him. I love the guy.
Unpredictability.
You know, he's the source of so much content.
For sure.
Yeah. Hey, have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
RFK Jr. I offer here and now to go into that building in Binghamton and cook up a pound of Lamb Speedies and invite RFK Jr. over and offer him a glass of PCPs and tell him to run a mile afterwards. I mean, come on, man. And he's trying to make, in my opinion, remember, anything I say is simply my opinion. In my opinion, with his recommendations, his wild and crazy recommendations about vaccinations, I'm afraid some kids are going to get sick. That's my concern. I'm concerned about your children and grandkids. 607-772-1290. However, I would like to hear your opinion, especially if it differs from mine. If you think RFK Jr. is all that and then some, if you think he's the greatest in sliced bagels, give me a call. Let me know. Explain why he is so much better than Anthony Fauci. It's Wednesday Morning Live with Bob Joseph on WNBF. Hello, welcome to the Big Shoe. It's the Big Shoe at 1697 Broadway. Enjoy the shoe. Here's the forecast for today. Increasing clouds, high 84. Tonight, mostly cloudy with a chance of showers and thunderstorms, low 62. Tomorrow we start off with patchy fog in the morning, otherwise partly sunny, high 82. And Friday mostly sunny, high 81 right now, 68 in downtown Binghamton, 20 Celsius. Air quality, moderate. Air quality index for Binghamton now up to 53. Watch out for smoke getting in your eye. Guidance for potential hazardous weather in the Binghamton area. Scattered showers and thunderstorms will move through the region today. Some of the thunderstorms will have the potential to produce isolated strong to damaging winds and large hail. Hail, hail. The gang's all here. Let's get some more of those roofing contractors. And let's get ICE on the case so they can slow down the process of the repairs. Drive by a lot of work sites where people are doing new roofs or repairing hail damage or whatever, or doing other work, new siding and other important home improvement projects. And every time I drive by, whether it's on the west side or the east side or the north side or even the south side, every time I drive by, I can't help but think these workers are at high risk of being iced. Isn't it terrible? We've got some of the hardest working people in the Triple Cities, and every morning they go to work and they work hard. They may be working 8, 10, 12 hours a day, sometimes under oppressively hot and humid conditions. And at the same time that they're doing necessary work, whether it's repairing hail damage or installing new roofs or siding or whatever, they have to worry about the ice. Oh, here come the ice man. Oh, you can't even see who they are because they have a mask. Like the Lone Ranger, except icier. Hi-oh, Silver. Away, away, on your way to Seacott. Get out of here. Stop doing good work for people in Binghamton. Get out of here. Your roof can wait. Hi-oh, Silver. On the other hand, I know they're just the ice, shouldn't say the ice man, the ice people. They're just doing their job. They're just following orders. John from Binghamton, you're on the air.
Hey, Bob. I was wondering, on this ice, and I guess at that Lutheran church up there in Endwell, they're going to have a training session for these people on the 15th of August.
They're going to have training? ICE will have a training at the church in Endwell?
No, these are the ice watchers.
Oh, ice watchers. Okay. Yeah. I was thinking I would go because I've always wondered how ice people receive training, if they get any kind of training or if they just show up and they're issued their weapon and their mask. But, so this is for people who will be watching the ice people.
Yeah, I mean, I can give them a heads up right now. Just have these campesinos stay away from Home Depot. That might be doing them a favor.
Well, I had wondered over the last few months. I would drive past the Home Depot there on 17C in Westover, and I would look over and say, "How come ICE hasn't been here yet?" And then finally, I guess they started showing up. I don't know. Maybe in their Home Depot directory, maybe it was outdated, or maybe somebody had accidentally deleted the Home Depots in Broome County. But from what I've been told, the ICE people have now located them in their little GPS.
Yeah, no matter where it is in the country, it's always the Home Depot. It's never Lowe's.
Yeah, good point. And I have a theory about that, but we'll talk about that some other time. By the way, in your travels on the West Side, whether you're still out walking your dog, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I haven't been in your neighborhood lately, accosting you like I did a few years ago. Wasn't that a wonderful morning for you? It's like, get out of my neighborhood. Come on. I live here because I don't want to be around people like you. But we had a delightful conversation. But have you seen any of the ICE activities, the ICE vans or the masked ICE employees at work over there?
Yeah, sure do.
Yeah. Have they shut down any of the roofing projects?
I did see the Binghamton police pulled over a 4-door car with about 3 or 4 of these roofers. Maybe a Friday or two ago at 5:00, and I don't know what the end of that traffic stop was, but yeah, I mean they're driving trucks with New Jersey and Pennsylvania plates, but the real, from a consumer point of view, I mean, you're supposed to, I guess, have a business license. In Binghamton. I mean, Battisti and Akshar are just letting these people come in, that 134 News story. I mean, this guy's out $85,000, and they're not doing anything about it. This is very troubling to me. And why is this anti-government extremist? Because that's what these ICE watchers are. Why is it limited only to ICE? For example, let's say you had HUD watchers or IRS watchers. Because, Bob, every government agency has police force, SWAT teams.
Oh, I just thought of one. FCC watchers.
Right.
Because it used to be, I don't think it's the case anymore, but sometimes, say, if the commission were in town, there was sort of, shouldn't even say this, but the commission knows, say when they visit a town, because they're not in town all the time, but when they pay a so-called surprise visit, word gets around fast. Among the regulated industries that, hey, the commission's in town, so make sure you have your stuff in order. Make sure if licenses have to be posted or commission memos or whatever, make sure everything's in proper position because you're probably going to get a visit. But yeah, to your point, it's an interesting question. Why are only the ICE men and women, the proud men and women of ICE, why are they the only ones being watched? And, you don't hear about IRS or FDA or DEA.
Yeah, they all have police forces. Every government agency, even an innocuous one.
Sure.
They have SWAT teams. They have people with vests. So, and let's look, where were these people, these ICE watchers, when Ruby Ridge, which involved American citizens, when Waco under Clinton, Janet Reno.
How come nobody ever brings up Janet Reno? Everybody's focused right now on the people in charge of DOJ over the last year and a half, but nobody mentions Janet Reno under Bill Clinton.
And remember Elian Gonzalez, probably the only good thing that Clinton ever did.
And by the way, how come? Where is he? He should be on the air now with a talk show, or because it's 2026, a podcast, an Elian podcast, and weighing in on the important issues, the high price of Diet Moxie or whatever. But suddenly he's disappeared.
And then I think down in the Hudson Valley, the federal government in September canceled their naturalization ceremony or swearing in. I
saw, because nobody was signed up.
Yeah. So I think, Bob, I want these people gone. It's what I voted for. I want I want a nice roundup, maybe right in front of the American Civic Association, of these temporary protected status people. Because, for too long, for decades, the American worker has been under assault by not only NAFTA and GATT, by all this cheap labor flooding into this country. And I'm sick of it. It's not leading us anywhere except to more misuse of the system, whether it be food stamp fraud, Medicaid fraud. And what's interesting is, I thought, like, if you're doing a financial fraud, you have to sort of make it look good, with big office buildings and suits and ties, and make yourself look legitimate. These people aren't even doing that. So
they're not even putting in the bare minimum effort, which is alarming.
Right. So I want these people picked up. It will make my day when these ICE raids are not big enough, and I want to see some of these anti-government extremists that operate out of these churches taken away. I want to see these city councils and these mayors of these sanctuary cities arrested on racketeering charges. I hope that, since this is Trump's forte, and he's had a list of dwindling accomplishments here now.
The only thing he's accomplished is the reflecting pool. He's had two accomplishments. He wrecked three accomplishments. He wrecked the reflecting pool. He tore down the east wing of the White House, and he managed to slither out of Air Force One without being detected by journalists. So 3 accomplishments in a year and a half. Appreciate your call. Thanks, John. It's 9:52. Can you imagine If I was Marco Rubio, I would just quit. I would quit on Twitter. I would just on the Little Marco Twitter account. If I were him, and I know he's happy that I'm not him, but if I were him, the way he was treated so shabbily and basically made sitting duck, it was one thing for the 13 reporters. I certainly have seen the commentary online, and clearly a lot of people would shed no tears if that plane with 13 journalists got blown out of the sky. They wouldn't have been mourning the reporters who were lost. Of course, I would. But, little Marco on the plane, well, his boss slithers off into some hotshot, whatever, I don't even know what it was, a C-32F or something. Who knows? They give him all these designations. But, again, it just goes to show, who can you trust anymore? Who can you trust except for the guy on the radio on WNBF? 607-772-1290, 4 minutes away from ABC News Radio, attempting to explain what the heck is going on in the world. They're going to try to do that in 10 minutes, so wish them luck. Barely going to scratch the surface with their theories about what's going on and the secrecy, why the war won't end, why the gas prices continue to soar, why the cost of food is totally out of control. I mean, really, it's enough to make you wonder. Don't you ever wonder about stuff? I mean, come on. Here's something. We didn't even talk about this. So, AOC, everybody's talking about AOC now, probably, in all likelihood, the next president of the United States. I'm sure they're already making AOC 48 caps at USA factories, as well as AOC 48 coffee mugs and things like that. Well, it happened a few days ago, and it has received scant attention in the media for some reason, and nobody has mentioned it so far on this program, so I will bring it up. So on the ABC news program this week, AOC announced that she is now in the process of freezing her eggs, and I've seen some of the comments online. Some of the comments are very supportive, and some, well, not so much. Some of the non-supportive comments are clearly from people who are just not fans of AOC. People who generally have liked her as far as being a new voice for America, and someone, I guess she claims to be a Democrat socialist or a socialist Democrat. Well, you don't have to agree with her on the issues, but you have to admire her willingness to talk about the situation here, about this very important decision.
Frankly, this administration has made pregnancy more dangerous than probably at any point in the last 30 plus years. We're going to take our power back, and we have to talk about it.
And that's important. And again, mysteriously, that was on the ABC news program on Sunday morning, but so far, nobody has even brought it up here on the most important radio program in downtown Binghamton.
I have made the decision to start freezing my eggs, and I want to share that.
And she acknowledged that some people might question her decision to even talk about this on a TV program.
Just by me choosing to not keep this private, there may be a consequence. But you know what? I'm okay with that. This is a choice that I am making to feel more in control of my life.
And AOC even talked about it on Instagram, of all places.
There is very strangely a political quote-unquote risk or even a political tax that could come with sharing this information. And per usual, that doesn't influence my ultimate decision.
So here you go, AOC on WN. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Let's take a look, WNBF.com, the cutting edge of journalism, at least some of the content that is generated from this building, winds up right on WNBF.com. For example, New York pizzeria fires up ovens at new Binghamton location. I stopped by. I was not content to just sit in the newsroom and imagine what piping hot pizza would taste like. I drove over there myself, and I not just took pictures and talked to one of the owners. I actually purchased a slice of pizza. Good. This is not a commercial. It's just an observation. And I don't do restaurant reviews, but I will say, good. It's not like Campbell's soup. It's like, really good. I know you're saying, but Bob, what kind of pizza did you order for your first slice at the new location of New York Pizzeria on Robinson Street on the east side? Oh, it's confidential. You have to respect my privacy. But it was good. It's good. And people were smiling. There was definitely an air of happiness. And so I took a couple of pictures and put up the story on WNBF.com if you want to get a sample of what the new place looks like and compare and contrast it with the other place at the Binghamton Plaza where they were ordered out by the city. I have to say I like what they did at the new place. The display sign, the screen, so the taste of New York City right here on Robinson Street. Welcome to our new location. So you could see it. And even though they had opened without any fanfare, apparently people heard about it. Hey, I heard about it. If I heard about it, then obviously other people heard about it. So, yeah. We've got some of the scintillating details, the delightful, delicious details of the new location of an iconic Binghamton pizza parlor. And yeah, you can pick up your pizza or you could have it delivered if you're unable or unwilling to get out of your house. And or you can eat there. The dining room looks nice. And since this was the soft opening, when I popped over there a Tuesday afternoon, there were several people in the dining room. The place wasn't jammed, but a lot of people were coming in. Typically, standard clientele that you would see at New York Pizzeria. You've got workers, in this case, somebody who was posing as a journalist. Yeah, a lot of people were coming in, sometimes grabbing a slice or two or whatever, sometimes whole pies. But anyway, I'm glad to see they have transitioned over to Robinson Street. So that's nice. Also, talked to the crews, a couple of workers who were completing a new parking lot on the east side of the pizza place. So there you go. That's local news. It's not the type of stuff you're just going to find on Bookface or TikTok or whatever. I mean, I'm sure somebody somewhere will post it online on social media. And who knows? Maybe some of what they post will be accurate. 607-772-1290. We can talk about local businesses that are moving or expanding. I heard about a business, and I was a bit surprised. I can't I can't tell you on the program at the moment, but I did hear an interesting development about a local business that may, I won't oversell and say it's going to shock you, but you might be surprised. It's a new twist. Also, a couple other things right now going on in downtown Binghamton that I've been monitoring. You know how they say that we're monitoring something, say if the authorities are monitoring a location. Well, I'm monitoring multiple locations around here because, to be honest, this is going to be one of the busier years post-COVID. You know, COVID threw everyone for a loop because remember, who was it? Andrew Cuomo shut everything down for a while, and then, some guy was telling us we should inject something. Don't inject yourself with something unless you're doing so under the direction of your healthcare provider. Otherwise, you know, if a president tells you to inject something, nay, well, just inject it or add some light and you'll feel good. And it's like, no, sounds like something you'd hear out on the street. No, don't take your medical advice from a guy who was not even that successful in real estate in Queens. I mean, take your medical advice from somebody who actually maybe went to school to learn something about medicine. Well, I think you should inject yourself and then use these untested and unproven things, which, remember, was just 6 years ago. We were getting a lot of inexplicable medical advice from presidents and talk show hosts. Look, you can listen to me talk about politics or even talk about medical topics. Don't get your medical advice from me. The only thing I'm going to advise you is don't eat salad. That's the only thing I know. Don't eat salad and don't eat those jalapeno peppers. Just don't. Not because they'll make you sick, just because it's probably safer to be eating things like chocolate and ice cream. If you want to make America healthy again, use the stuff that's not likely to make you sick. You know, salads and jalapeno peppers right now. Got to look at every pepper and every salad suspiciously. It's Wednesday morning. I'm Bob Joseph, WNBF, WNBF.com. It's Wednesday morning. Oh, the weather forecast. Yeah, there's a risk, all right. Increasing clouds today. A risk that temperatures might be in the mid-80s. And tonight, mostly cloudy. A risk of showers and thunderstorms. Low 62, partly sunny tomorrow. Risk of patchy fog in the morning with a high of 82. And Friday, mostly sunny. Risk of cloud-free skies, high 81. Yes, when it comes to weather, it's risque business. And of course, download the WNBF app so you can have all the pertinent risky details so you don't miss out. A lot of people have a fear of missing out on the latest weather. You won't miss out if you have the latest version of the WNBF app. Right now it's 70 degrees, 21 Celsius here at WNBF 1022 on the wall here. We never did resolve for what to do about the time. A few days ago we were talking about this crazy, in my opinion, crazy idea to have daylight saving time year-round. And I'm thinking, who came up with that? Was that somebody who probably thinks in a twisted way they can make money off it, make billions of dollars with keeping the time at the daylight saving time setting? I don't know exactly what their scheme is or scam, but you know, if he supports it, there's probably somehow either money that he'll make or money that his son-in-law is going to make or some of his kids, right? Because that's what it comes down to. It basically is money. It really is. I'm sorry to report that it comes down strictly to the almighty dollar. We're continuing to monitor the investigation into the weekend killing of a Binghamton man. 2 people wound up, suffering injuries as a result of that confrontation that happened on the east side at about 5:45 Saturday morning. And so one man died, and the other man sustained a serious head injury and was taken to Wilson Medical Center with a very serious injury. So we have done an update at our website. We stopped back at the scene to see what was going on, and much to my surprise, they had detectives were back there on Tuesday. The K-9 units, not just Binghamton Police, but also Cortland City Police and Cortland Sheriff's Office were over on the scene on the east side. So we did an update. You can see that at WNBF.com. If you do have information regarding the case, and if you want to share it with the investigators, you can contact the Binghamton Police Detective Division at 607-772-7080. And certainly we extend our condolences to the family and friends of Tyshawn Hickman as they cope with the loss of he was the father of 2 young children, a son and a daughter. So very, very sad, a tragic loss here in Binghamton. We'll keep you posted as we learn more about the investigations. 1025 607-772-1290 is the number. Vinny in Binghamton, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Bob. Hey, I think Dave from Vessel talked about a question of the day: is a country ready for a third party? I think that's a good question. And I want to answer it the way I think James said something too. Other callers said something about it too. But I think it comes down to this. No, we don't. We don't need another party because we can't really get our 2 parties that we have here. I think it's like those people that say we need to start doing space exploration and try to start colonies on Mars and this and that. We can't even keep our world together. So why do we want to go someplace else? Why don't we fix what we got? And I think that's what's going on with our politics now. And one of the big reasons, I think a lot of it, is because we have all that money down there in Washington, all these special interest groups, and it's going to take time for us to get it out of there. And all that third party, it reminds me of Ross Perot. I think that was the last time this country had a chance to get a third party. But Bob,
well, what was his deal anyway? Well, what was his big deal, and why? I'm still, decades later, I'm still mystified by his popularity. A lot of people were somehow transfixed by the guy, but even now, at this late date, I'm still confused about why anybody thought a guy, I think he had been involved in some computer industry or something. I can't remember his so-called credentials. Why was he so popular as a third-party candidate?
Bob, I think it had to do with what Kate McCaskill said when AOC came on. It's a brand new shiny penny.
But he wasn't. I understand that when you say AOC, but I compare the 2 side by side, and shiny penny, AOC, Ross Perot. Well, and forgive me, anybody who was a friend or a relative of Ross Perot. At the moment, and I apologize, this shows how shallow I am. The only thing I can remember really about him is his ears, because his ears were being unmercifully mocked by some in the lamestream media.
Well, let me go deeper on what I mean with the shiny penny.
Oh, okay. You're not talking about the way they look. You're not talking about the way the candidates look.
No. What I meant was it's something brand new. I mean, he got up there with his boards and he'd take his marker and let's just make it simple. And he tried talking He tried talking to the common man, that type of thing.
Well, you're saying he was trying to talk sense to the American people.
Yes. Yeah, making it simple. But it's not simple. I mean, I go back to remember, back then he was at the tail end of whenever you ran for office, try to get a military person or somebody that's been in the military or some military person be your vice president.
Oh, remember that guy. And again, I'm not going to mention his name because of HIPAA, but remember, who could forget the debate, the vice presidential debate? What was the name? James something or
Stockdale.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. So I admired the guy, but at least he started off the vice presidential debate appropriately with, who am I and why am I here? And I'm thinking, yeah, at least he's honest with us. That alone almost prompted me to vote for the ticket. I'll concede. I won't tell you how I voted that year, but I did not, as it turns out, vote for the Perot-Stockdale ticket, but just his refreshing honesty. Who am I and why am I here? I thought, yeah, you ought to be on top of the ticket, and I probably, if he was the presidential candidate, I might have voted for him just because of his refreshing honesty and just folksiness.
Well, Bob, I tell you the behind the scenes, because this is on Frontline, and they talked to him. He goes, we're sitting there one night, and he's talking to Ross Perot, and they're talking back and forth, talking about something, and right near the end of the conversation, Ross Perot goes, okay, well, good luck tomorrow night. And Stockdale goes, what's going on tomorrow night? Oh, you got a debate.
I didn't know that.
He goes, a debate. It's on Frontline. A debate. He goes, oh, don't worry about it. He goes, just tell the truth. Click. Okay? That's what I'm talking about. Bob, I said this when I talk about people in sports. And, I played sports in high school. I don't know if you did or anybody. Anybody that's listened and played sports, you can have as many scrimmages as you want. You can have many your practices. You do all the drills. You work hard. You're sweating. But no matter what you do, you cannot duplicate the actual game. When the people come in and the cheerleaders are there, it's a different atmosphere. That's the way it is when you're president. You can't duplicate it, no matter what you do. And what's going on, what's saving Trump, if anything, is this entertainment stuff. That's one. And you don't have Sam Donaldsons and Dan Rathers out there to mess you up, man. When you're sitting there calling, saying the Democrats are hiring these jihadists, this is coming from a man who is a lead character in the Epstein files. And who do you got to say that? Dan Rather, man, if Sam Donaldson was here and this president gets up and talks about Iran, I would hear Donaldson. Oh, Mr. President, the American people have heard that 30 times. Do you really have a plan? He's the guy who would say that.
Well,
not these people now.
Well, no, they're afraid because if they even raise an eyebrow to suggest that they're going to offer any pushback for things that are questionable at best, I'm trying to be diplomatic, they know they're going to lose their access. I mean, look at Maggie Haberman. I mean, she's still, and I'm not, I'm ambivalent about Maggie Haberman because on the one hand, I think in the past, looking at her work for the New York Times, she has the capability of being a very good journalist. On the other hand, figuratively speaking, I think she's been way too cozy with Trump. And I get the fact that you're going to have to be cozy if you're going to be able to call him on his cell phone and he'll answer. I mean, that's the secret, not just for Haberman, but also for a lot of current D.C. reporters. Look, if I call him, he's not going to answer. But if I think there are about 100 or 200 reporters. If they call him, he'll answer, and he'll give them 90 seconds for a so-called exclusive interview that most of them don't bother taping, and then they can run with it for the next 36 hours. He told ABC News exclusively in a phone conversation that I like cheeseburgers or whatever. Yeah. And it's like, well, I was going to say something about the Binghamton Fire Department, but I don't want to bring them into this. It's like, it's not that big a deal. If he's going to talk to every reporter with an exclusive interview for 90 seconds that's unrecorded, it essentially feels meaningless. But anyway, we need journalists of the caliber of Sam Donaldson or Bill Plant or even Dan Rather back in the day, even though he was excoriated by Nixon and Agnew and all those creeps.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. They look, a president is just like us in some ways. I mean, obviously most of us aren't that greedy as the current occupant of what's left of the White House, but still, he's like us. Look, as far as I know, he's like me, born in New York. We're native New Yorkers, so we have that in common. We both speak English. I happen to think I use better words than him, but I don't hold it against him. I'm not being judgmental. He obviously has been far more successful when it comes to cashing in on life. So I respect him as a native New Yorker, but I also think he ought to start answering some tough questions for his constituents.
Because of his title and his responsibilities. That's it.
Yes,
his title.
Yes, none of this is personal. Anybody who listens to the program and I know someone who she has this takeaway. Oh, Bob hates him. No, nothing could be further from the truth. I love him, and not in the way that some people are thinking. I love him and respect him as our president and also as a human. Look. Hey, we're all imperfect. Everyone is imperfect. Everybody who's alive today in this country is imperfect. And I want the best for every person in this country, whether they're a citizen or a non-citizen. I want the best for our president, because if he succeeds, then this country is going to be successful.
Mm-hmm. And Bob, you know what? And respect also for the person. I'll use you as an example. You host a show that's Bob Joseph, but if depending on where I am, I'm responsible for. I got to remember, this guy's a reporter, and watch what you say, because I hear you like, no, we can't do that. You know the rules and regulations, and I think with this guy down there in Washington, he has no respect for these reporters at all. Unless they say something good about him.
Right. He's calling reporters piggy.
Yeah.
Who does that?
Yep.
Who does that? If you had a kid, I don't care if the kid is 4 years old or 44 years old, or if it's your dad or brother or uncle, and that male called someone else piggy, regardless of their gender, whether it's a female, a male, or something else, you don't call people piggy. It's not. Life isn't a cartoon. Life requires, especially for someone who's constantly in the spotlight, you need to show respect to others, even if you don't want to. Even if in your heart of hearts you don't respect the journalist, you don't denigrate her by calling her piggy, or you don't denigrate a journalist who may have some physical challenges by mocking his mannerisms. That's just not done. Mature people don't behave that way.
No. And it's so funny. This is the guy and people that blame our schools for the way our kids are acting.
Exactly.
Good example.
Don't blame our schools. I mean, let's be crystal clear. I mean, schools are important in the lives of our young people. So, yes, whether you're educated in New York State or Mississippi, the type of education you get, from the time that you go to school till the time you graduate high school around 18, that will have a profound effect on your life. And I think that's why a lot of people who are educated by public schools in New York State tend to do better than some people who are educated in public schools elsewhere. It's just because New York State typically is known for having a higher quality public education system than many other states.
Yep.
And again, I'm not criticizing those other states. Look, they're all good states, and I'm thinking that all those states are doing the best they can under the circumstances. But it's also up to the people. They have to be willing to spend more to get results. And obviously in New York State, I am proud to be in New York State where we spend more than most other states on public education. And I know some people say, yeah, but have you looked at the test results lately? Yeah, I have. I understand. It's not perfect, and there are a lot of reasons why test results turn out the way they do. Say in places like Binghamton or Johnson City or Endicott, for one thing, we have a very high percentage of child poverty right now. And so students who are coming from homes with relatively small amounts of money and sometimes just environments that are not conducive to learning. I'll be the first to acknowledge there are a lot of people growing up now in the Triple Cities that don't have the advantages that I did when I was growing up and going to schools in Maine, Endwell, and Union, Endicott. You know, fortunately, I had parents who cared, parents who loved me, and parents who also set a pretty good example. Were they perfect? No. But they set good examples, and they got me pointed in the right direction. And sometimes the kids today, through no fault of their own, are in situations they may have one parent raising them. Maybe they're being raised by their grandparents, or in some cases they're being raised by someone who's not a relative. The circumstances are less than optimal, but when people start saying, well, look at some of the results in certain school districts around here, that means the educators are failing us. I don't think so. I think the educators, the teachers I know, the current teachers and retired teachers who have been in public schools in Broome County for as far back as I know, almost every teacher, current or retired, that I'm familiar with, they were dedicated. And did they have all different skill levels? Yeah. There were some teachers either that I know or teachers that I've experienced who were better than others. But that's true. It's like this talk show. Is this the best talk show Binghamton could possibly get? No. But it's the one you're stuck with now, and I'm committed every day to doing my best.
Absolutely. And I think you had somebody call in, I don't know if she was a teacher or what, this is months ago, and she talked about nutrition rate. A lot of these kids aren't showing up. They're not showing up to school. And the second thing is, how many hours a day do the teachers actually have your child? 6, 7, 8? What about the rest of the days? What about the weekends? What are these kids? Where are they? Do parents know? Who are they hanging with? You know, there's so many things to it. And it's the teacher's fault. Well, it's not. There's a lot more to it. And you know it. A lot of people know it.
Oh, they know.
They know it.
They know. They
just want to.
You know, and sometimes, they want to, point fingers. It's a huge issue. I mean, whether it's educational challenges or housing challenges or affordability challenges, every issue is very complicated. And for all the issues, there are no simple answers. There are ways to make progress. If you want to be part of the solution, you can work to be part of the solution, or you can simply call and blame people that you don't like. And whether it's teachers or certain elected officials or whatever, it's convenient. It's Biden's fault. Everything, Vinny, everything that's bad in Binghamton right now, it's because of Biden.
Yeah.
And Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
Oh, and Hillary.
Yeah. And Hunter's
laptop. It's Hunter's laptop. That's why New York State is in the shape it's in. Oh, yeah, and Kathy Hochul. It's just, you ask people to get specific, and it's just, a lot of times it's impossible. I won't say it's always impossible. Sometimes if you ask for a specific, sometimes people will give you an example, and sometimes they may actually have a point. I'm not saying the people who are running New York State right now are doing an excellent job. In my opinion, in some cases, they're doing quite well on some things. But the current lineup, whether we're talking about the governor or the assembly or the Senate, I don't think they're moving seriously on a lot of issues. They talk a lot, but sometimes they don't take enough decisive action for whatever reason. Anyway, appreciate your call.
Yep.
It's 1044 WNBF. And Kathy Hoke, we know what her priority is. Her priority for upstate New York, it's not Binghamton, it's not Syracuse, it's not Rochester, it's not Utica, it's not Norwich, it's not Oneonta. Her priority for upstate New York is Erie County and Buffalo and Orchard Park. That's her priority. It seems, hey, I'm just saying, based on her actions. Based on her actions. She loves the billionaire owners of the Buffalo Bills. Hey, I do too. I'm impressed. I'm impressed that people could make billions of dollars from the lucrative fracking industry in the United States. Who knew? I know at least one of our viewers knew that you could make billions of dollars from fracking, but the guy who owns the Buffalo Bills, or the couple who own the Buffalo Bills, hey, more power to them. Legal fracking. They can't frack in New York yet. They will at some point, I suspect. But, hey, enjoy your billions. And enjoy the extra billions you have because you didn't have to pay for the new stadium. You got Kathy Hochul to make an arrangement so much of the funding for your new unaffordable stadium was covered by New York State and Erie County taxpayers. I'm impressed. It's 10:45. I'm Bob Joseph, News Radio, WNBF. If you have your thoughts, could be about local issues. Hey, we're a local program. I thought we were going to hear a report from the town of Union with the public hearing on the battery storage facility. Apparently, did it even happen? I didn't hear any news reports. I'll have to take a look at the websites to see if anybody covered the town of Union, the planning board public hearing. If you were there, let me know. If you're part of the developers or the property owners for the proposed battery storage facility in the town of Union, apparently near the IBM Glen, give me a call. I'd like to know more. I was unable to attend. 607-772-1290. All are welcome. It's live. It's local. It is WNBF. It's 10:50 at WNBF. Well, that didn't take long. Airport Road Bob, good morning. Welcome to the program.
Hey, morning, Bob. I did go to the meeting last night. There was some interesting stuff. There were probably 40 people there, residents mostly. Executive director from Waterman had a big speech. This project goes back, all the way back to 2021. And it keeps getting set back. I think it was originally proposed by one company and they backed out. This will be part of that solar project that's up there. They have 14 acres. They're going to clear 6 to 8 acres to put this system in. It's basically, they look like tractor trailer boxes. And then they have batteries inside each box. The cooling system is a closed system. It's going to produce about 150 megawatts when it goes online, and that would run about 40,000 houses, they said. There's the company that's proposing this has 26 active sites nationwide. Some of the concerns of local firemen from different companies are how fast the response time is with a problem and letting the people know here, like the fire companies or 911. And basically the system is set up so that any problems go to California and then California contacts the local 911 system.
What did the executive director of Waterman have to say? You mentioned he had some lengthy comments?
Yes, he did. He was biggest concern is the Glen. They already have problems with the water runoff at the Glen. That is an old forest growth area, and that they're going to now take down another 6 to 8 acres of the old growth for, looks like 126 of these tractor trailer box size containers. They're not using lithium ion. They're using something called lithium iron. Supposedly they're much safer. I haven't done much research yet, so I don't really know. I know Johnson City Fire Department will be the main primary responsibility.
Yeah, I believe it's in the Johnson City Fire District.
Yes, and they actually, because these things need more extensive training for firemen, this company says that they will be training the fire departments in the process of putting out a problem.
So did anybody talk about what the real-life experience has been with facilities like this as far as fires or other safety issues? Did anybody provide any statistics about incidents that have happened elsewhere?
They say they have 26 active sites, and they've never, ever had a particular problem to this date.
What's the name of the company?
I think it's New Way. They had a big sign up, and I didn't really pay attention, I'll be honest. I was listening to the guys. They did a whole promotion from the company. Like I said, the biggest concerns were the water runoff and destroying the look of the Glen.
Did many other people speak? Or did most of the people, you I think said maybe about 4 dozen people were there, did most of the people just listen to the presentation?
You know, sadly, after going to these types of meetings for the last 4 years, which I never went to, I never got involved before this tech park project, but sadly, a lot of people show up to meetings sometimes, but nobody ever speaks up. I find it disturbing that, you know, you're there, make a point, put your feelings out there, put your why you're against it or why you're for it. But everybody seems to just show up and sit and listen, and then they all mumble and go home.
So what's going to happen now? I mean, did the planning board actually act on this and approve the application?
No, actually, this is the first of many public meetings. They have to go through so many both federal and state regulations. They just filed a 239, I believe, around the 1st of August. So this project is tentatively set to be built in 2030. So it's not even a current project. So people in the area would have plenty of time to rally and if you're against it, start talking about it. But again, you know how that works, Bob.
No, I know. Well, I appreciate the update. Sorry I couldn't be there, but yeah, keep me posted if you hear anything more about this or about the solar farm or any of the other things that might be proposed, both in the town of Union but also the town of Maine. Keep me in mind.
Supervisor Mack was there, so if you have him on tomorrow or the next day or today, he should have some answers for you.
Oh, he will. He'll be coming on, so we'll ask him about it. We'll get more information. Thank you.
Thanks for what you do, Bob.
1056 WNBF, the information station. These eclipses really annoy me. I'm still not over. Don't even talk to me about 2024. You know, all the eclipse coverage, the wackiness, and people with their T-shirts and cookies and funny glasses, and you wind up, you get yourself whipped into a solar eclipse frenzy, and then at the right moment, everything is fine. You put plenty of film in your cameras, and then it's cloudy. It's cloudy. And then they say, well, the next total eclipse will be in 2525 if you're still alive. And it's like, don't even. But I'm sure coming up, ABC News Radio will probably have some sort of breathless eclipse coverage with somebody in Mallorca or whatever, those lucky people who got to go on the company's dime. Anyway, we'll have more of other things to talk about next hour.
News, talk, and information for Binghamton and Central New York. This is News Radio, WNBF Binghamton, a Town Square media station.
607-772-1290. The show, such as it is, will continue until noon, unless we have to shut it down early due to operational requirements. Sounds curious. What could that mean? Operational requirements. Oh, say if I get really hungry. Well, that's why I advise people don't wait till the last minute, because because I get hungry at 11:30, what if I have to shut down things early because of my operational requirement? So there. Well, it's just not right. I thought the show would be on till noon. Well, it could be. And if you check on most prediction markets, they're betting it will be. But just think, what if I pulled a George, what was that guy's name? The troublemaker who got booted out of Congress. Yeah, that guy, that George guy. He goes to the prediction market and bets that he isn't going to show up at the State of the Union speech, and then he cashes in, I don't know how much money, $40,000. So I can start doing that on the prediction market. I can bet that the program will end at 11:35 this morning, and then I could cash in. What an easy, sleazy, illegal way to make money, thanks to the prediction markets. Yeah, the prediction markets. I want to get back to this whole thing about the president. I know you're saying, well, what now? Well, okay, I'm going to drop the whole thing about how he chickened out, and he blames the Secret Service, and I don't have any reason to doubt the Secret Service recommended that he not take that really big, the big 747 version of Air Force One, and take the little dinky whatever, C-32A or whatever. I'm sure the Secret Service recommended that, but still, letting the big plane fly with Marco Rubio and 13 innocent journalists and kind of hoping, can you imagine him hoping that something happens to the big plane? Now, I know it sounds crazy to even talk about, but look, hindsight's 20/20. He at least should have said, hey, if there really is a big threat to the big plane, the 747, if we have evidence that somebody who supports Iran is going to use one of those missiles and try to shoot it down, how about this? Why don't we wait till I get safely in the UK or wherever he was heading to? So I'll land safely in my little fake secret Air Force One, C-32A or whatever, and then keep the big plane on the ground. Then we announce to the world, we put it on CNN, that I'm here safely in London, and then all the bad people who might have been targeting the big 747, the real Air Force One, not Qatar Force One, the $400 million bribe, but the legitimate Air Force One. Then, after everybody knows that the president's not on board, and the only people on board are military people, White House staffers, Marco Rubio, and 13 innocent journalists, then they can fly out of Turkey and they'll be safe. That's what any other president would do. That's what I would do as president. I wouldn't put Marco Rubio and other White House staffers and military personnel and 13 patriotic journalists, I wouldn't put their lives at risk. It wouldn't have been that hard. Wait until you get safe in London on the ground and have all the coverage on CNN. I'm the president. I'm here safely in the UK. And so anybody who was going to try to do something with me as I left Turkey, sorry, fooled you. I slinked out of the plane in a food cart. It's like a plot of the worst movie imaginable. And mark my words, somebody is going to do a really bad movie on this. Starring, who will it star? I don't even know. Who knows? Drake. Drake could be the president. There. I'll tell you about the other casting on Friday. So here's something new. And the Washington Post suddenly has developed a spine, despite being owned by Jeff Bezos. Suddenly the Washington Post has decided to start posting real stories. Here's a new one that they just posted this morning. Trump administration set to spend $900 million on White House construction, at least $900 million. The price tag is much larger than what has been previously reported, according to a review of confidential documents. And taxpayers would cover most of it. So here we are on the verge of spending $1 billion unnecessarily for the White House. And it takes the Washington Post, which suddenly has decided to get back to real reporting and giving us some juicy exclusives. Thank you, Washington Post. Hey, most of all, I didn't think I would be in a position to say this, but I will. Thank you, Jeff Bezos, for allowing the few reporters left at the Washington Post to start reporting some good stuff. This is great stuff. I'm proud today. We'll see about tomorrow. I'm proud today to be subscribing to the Washington Post because of reporting like this. This is actually a reason why I didn't pull my subscription from WAPO months ago when a lot of other people were upset by some of the things going on, including the layoff of many, many, many journalists. My original inclination was to say, no, I'm not going to subscribe anymore because Jeff Bezos is too busy eviscerating the newspaper. But for some reason, I had a gut feeling that some of the reporters who remained were going to wind up doing some good work in August. And so my hunch proved correct. So listen to this. The Trump administration plans to spend at least $900 million for construction projects on the White House grounds, a lot more than has been previously reported. And it would be covered primarily by taxpayers. The story by Jonathan O'Connell and Sarah Blasky. It's an exclusive, so thank goodness. So what's happening now, in a strange twist, Washington Post is beating the New York Times on some of the most important stories regarding this administration. Instead of securing money directly from Congress, the records show, the administration has pieced together funding from other agencies and private donors and directed it to a little-known account that typically holds a few $1 million for routine maintenance of the place. Confidential contracts and related planning documents indicate the administration plans to use money in that account for a White House modernization project, which is the administration's term for his planned overhaul of the property approved by no one. No one. No one's approved it. It's just his idea to take public property and do whatever he wants. And I believe a federal appeals court recently basically said, you can't do it. You can't do that. You're a tenant. That'd be tantamount to somebody on Binghamton's north side in somebody's apartment house saying, oh, I'm going to I'm going to demolish part of this house. I know I don't own it. I don't have the owner's permission. I'm just a tenant, and I'm only authorized to stay for another 2.5 years. But I'm going to call Gorick or LCP or both of them and have them demolish part of this building because I want to install a ballroom. Be like, no, you can't. It's not your property. It's not your decision. If you get permission from the owner, maybe. That's what it. Sorry that I have to put it in such simplistic terms. That's essentially what the president did with the White House. He tore down part of it with nobody's approval. And I'm not saying necessarily it was a bad idea. I'm just saying he didn't get approval to wreck public property. And because he's the president, he could do that in D.C. and he could do anything else on Fifth Avenue. Nobody can stop him because, evidently, he thinks he's above the law. You can't damage public or private property. I can't. Only one person in the world is allowed to damage public property with impunity. See what else. I enjoyed the ruling from the two judges. They wrote in that opinion a few days ago. Congress has exclusive authority to regulate the construction and demolition of White House structures. Very simple and understandable. And you wouldn't think it would take judges to point this out to the president. You would think Donald Trump, of all people, a real estate expert who is highly respected by his peers in Queens. So he's a real estate tycoon and expert. So he knows about property rights. He knows what you're allowed to do and what you are not permitted to do. So he knew, or should have known, you can't take down part of the White House. It can't be done. It can't be done without the authority of Congress. As the judges ruled on Friday, it's up to Congress. Congress has exclusive authority to regulate the construction and demolition of White House structures. Hey, he still is in office for another 2.5 years or so. So what else is he going to wreck? Evidently, in his mind, he's entitled to wreck the whole place. Apparently. I don't understand. I don't understand how he gets away with it. And I don't understand how nobody, for the most part, not literally nobody, but generally speaking, is there any pushback? Do the Republicans think this would be a good idea? When AOC is president, if there's anything left of the White House on January 20th, 2029, when she's sworn in, I know you're saying, Bob, you have a wild imagination. Okay, I'm saying imagine if you will. I'm not saying it will happen, but say, in the event AOC unexpectedly is elected president in the 2028 election, so she's sworn in January 2029, what if she wants to give herself a Valentine's Day present that year to tear down more of the White House? What then? Well, she can't do it because she's a Democrat socialist, and that's tantamount to being a communist, and we're not going to let communists tear down the White House. It's okay for a Republican to tear down the East Wing, but we'll be darned. We'll be darned. We'll let a Democrat do it. I know, you're saying, Bob. Well, you can't, again, it's only my opinion. You may beg to differ, and if you disagree with this, call in. Explain why you think a president has the right to wreck public property. I'd like to hear that. I'd like to hear where you're coming from, why you think it's okay to demolish the East Wing with nobody's approval. 607-772-1290. So Bob Joseph on one show that there actually is common sense being dispensed. WNBF and WNBF.com. It's 11:29. Thanks for listening to WNBF. We've been serving the Binghamton area for nearly a century. We're proud to do it. We're proud to inform and entertain and occasionally offer thoughts about what's going on in our world and give you an opportunity to add your own thoughts to the mix. 607-772-1290. National Weather Service reports scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to move through the region today. Some of the storms will have the potential to produce isolated strong to damaging winds and large hail. Here's the complete forecast. Increasing clouds today, high 84. Mostly cloudy tonight with a chance of showers and thunderstorms. There will be some patchy fog overnight, low 62. Partly sunny tomorrow, high 82. Mostly sunny on Friday, high 81. And right now in downtown Binghamton, it's 76, which is 24 Celsius. At News Radio, WNBF. Suddenly, and magically, and gloriously, the air quality is better right now than it was earlier this morning. Air quality index in Binghamton has slipped down to 35, so that's good. Earlier, 2 hours ago, when we were chatting with Karen Sweet O'Neill, air quality index was 52. So maybe we're going to be okay. I saw some of the forecasts were indicating we would wind up with more smoke from Canada and from Washington State from all the wildfires. So hopefully, we won't have to deal with the smoke from those wildfires. Yeah, we'll keep our finger crossed. Let's see what else is going on here. Check the email. I haven't checked the email recently. See if anything notable. Oh, I did get a response. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Cram. I did send a quick note to Mayor Cram. Thank you for the response. Let me just... I'm sure he's not listening. No, I'm not sure. Hold on. Let me just see. Anyway, if he is listening, thank you. Every once in a while, even when I'm on the air, every once in a while, I'll shoot off a quick email to the mayor if I have a question. So appreciate the answer. I mean, at this time, because of the circumstances, he's unable to respond directly to my inquiry. But thank you, Mayor Cram. Let me just say thank you to acknowledge to the mayor and the deputy mayor. Thank you. Appreciate the prompt response. Let's see. By the way, I mean, that's part of the story I'm working on, so I won't spoil it for you. We'll have more details about that story coming up later today on WNBF and WNBF.com, because obviously these stories need a little bit more reporting. But I think you'll be interested in a couple of stories I'm working on. Trying to do multiple stories right now. Up to a point. Morning, you're on the air. What's your first name? Where are you calling from?
John Bingham.
John? Hello? Well, sometimes I feel like Larry King. Is the caller there? Oh, he was calling about the East Wing. Well, call back. Sorry, I think you probably bought one of those Trump phones. It wasn't working right. Feel free to call back if you want to tell me what you think about the East Wing being destroyed. Beverly from the town of Dickinson. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Bob. How you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. I got some extra help.
Oh, good.
What's Kathy Hochul advertising? I got your chair right there, and I got your friend one. Oh, so what's she offering?
She's offering good times. Good times for the next 4 years.
What's she talking about? She don't want the people to vote for something about Trump.
Oh, I'm not sure. I know.
She advertises it 2 or 3 times a night.
Oh, well, I missed it. I apologize. I can't believe that she's telling people not to vote for something that Trump is supporting. It seems odd.
Yeah, well, she said something about that she doesn't want Trump doesn't want the voters to vote for Trump's. I don't know. He said some kind of.
Oh, about tearing down the East Wing of the White House. Well, if that's the case, I agree. Did you think that was right for him to destroy the White House?
Absolutely not.
Well, why do you think he did it?
I don't know. I mean, that was a thing there. That was first built years ago. So why destroy it?
Well, what would you say if Jimmy Carter had torn down the East Wing?
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? I mean, so it's okay for him, and obviously you and I don't think it's okay, but in the view of some people, it's just fine for him to tear down the White House, and yet if Jimmy Carter or Bill Clinton did it, they'd be furious.
Yeah. Well, Bob, I got help today, so I'm happy on that.
Okay, I'm glad to hear it. Hope you have a great afternoon.
You too.
Bye-bye. 11:36. John from Binghamton is back. Good morning.
Morning, Bob. I assure you I don't have a Trump phone. I wouldn't go near one if you gave me a case of them.
Okay. I just because we had initial trouble connecting, I automatically figured it was one of those Trump phones made in America, so I apologize.
That's okay. Bob,
although you're still breaking up a little bit, can you get like a little closer to a window or something? Because even though you have a high quality phone,
any better?
It is. Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay. In a dirty crystal ball, Bob, when the dust settles and they decide that he cannot go further with the ballroom, what happens then to the damage that he's already occurred? I mean, the place looks like a disaster right now.
Yeah, it looks like it was hit by an Iranian missile.
Exactly. And just like Iran, he's got no off-ramp for that, and he's got no off-ramp for this.
Well, what he seems to do, and I've heard various explanations for everything he's done, not just in his second term, but even in his first term, everything he touches turns to crap. Yeah. And I apologize for the language. I know some people are offended by the language. We'll just say everything he touches gets wrecked.
Yep.
And I don't know. I think after he's finally out of office, whenever that is, I think then, and only then, some action can be taken, either by the federal government, maybe Department of Justice will run this by a grand jury and see if they can take potential criminal action, which I would hate to see. I mean, he's already been convicted of 34 felonies. It'd be sad to see if he gets convicted of dozens of additional felonies because of a case like this. But I would submit to you that the DOJ should look into it from a criminal standpoint, and I wouldn't be surprised if there would be some civil lawsuits. I would think any American has standing to file a civil lawsuit after he's no longer in office.
And he would not be able to pardon himself, Bob.
That's the beauty of it. That's, the only danger is President AOC, if she is trying to be conciliatory, would issue a pardon. But I don't think, I can't speak for President AOC in the imaginary future, but I don't think any future president would be inclined to pardon the guy, especially if he was potentially going to face criminal prosecution for damaging the White House.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, it's a real shame. This ought to serve, though, as an opportunity, as a learning moment for all of us, no matter what our age is. But you cannot damage federal property with impunity.
Correct.
All right, thank you. Hope you have a good day.
Thank you, Bob. Have a great day. Thank you.
I'm just, you know me. I mean, I have nothing against Trump per se. I'm concerned about some of his actions, obviously. But this is a critical juncture in America, because going forward, if action isn't taken, this basically gives any future president, Democrat or Republican or even communist, for those of you who think the communists are about to take over, say if we wind up with a communist president, she could tear down the whole place. And she would point to what Trump did in 2026 and say, see, it was fine for him. So I tore down the whole place, and instead I'm going to build a beautiful mosque where the White House once stood. And there'd be nothing we can do about it because of the precedent that Donald Trump is setting at this moment. So I'm not saying that America's first communist president would do that, but I'm saying she could, unless something is done now. It's 11:40 WNBF. Let's take some additional calls. Steve from Binghamton, good morning.
Hello, good morning. I'd like to talk about the East Wing. I believe
yes, please.
Trump can do. Yes, I'd like to tell you and everybody else that Trump can do whatever he wants to do with the East Wing. He's president, but no other president will be able to do this. Just Trump. The man's got the policies, knows what he's doing, and I'm backing him up 100%. As a matter of fact, I want this man to be king.
Well, to that end, though, do you think he should stay on beyond the scheduled end of his term? Because as it stands now, officially, he's only scheduled to be president until noon on January 20th, 2029. Do you think he should stay on beyond that?
I think he should stay beyond that and also extend it. And also, I'm pretty sure he's going to have a lot to say after his term in office. And if he doesn't be president again, which is probably against the rules anyway, I'm sure he'll give his advice and rules as usual. I mean, who did it when Biden was president? Obama did. Obama was given the orders, not Biden.
Yeah. What about Hunter Biden? What should they do with him?
Yeah, he's another winner, too.
Well, that's the thing. All of a sudden, Hunter Biden is everywhere. He's on every broadcast, every podcast. I mean, the guy is ubiquitous. What's up with him? Is he running for something?
If he's running, I wouldn't doubt it, because everybody and their brother's running. It seems like a lot of socialists are running. A lot of communists are running. And look at the wars we've been through just to fight communism. Now they're running for politics. They're running for congressmen. They're running for Senate. And they're possibly running for president. These are communists.
Well, what about that mayor in New York City, Mamdani? He seems to be popular right now.
Oh, yeah. He's popular with the young people, but they'll regret it.
Yeah, but he's setting up some government-run food stores so they can get cheaper prices on healthy food.
Yeah, we'll see how that works. Right.
Well, what about free bus rides? That would work.
All on the taxpayers, of course.
Of course. All right. Well, I appreciate your calling in, and I hope you have a great afternoon.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. 11:43 at News Radio WNBF. What's your opinion? Now is a good time to express your opinion, because we have a few minutes left. To be blunt, the show is nearing an end. Sadly, the show is nearing an end for today. I know a lot of people are saying, "Oh, good, about time." About time. Well, okay. It's just ending for today, though. Don't you worry. We'll be back tomorrow from 9 to noon. Meantime, though, it's still a little bit of time, limited time for you to call in, 607-772-1290. This is WNBF and WNBF.com. 11:47, and let's go to Whitney Point. Dave, you're on the air.
Hi, Bob. I didn't get a chance to call in earlier when you were talking about the battery storage thing, and I would like to make a suggestion. Maybe you can pass it along to the supervisor when you have him on. Why don't they put the battery storage facility on the old GE Westover property? It's a brownfield anyway. The infrastructure is there for the electricity, and they could fill the rest of the property up with solar panels.
Intriguing, especially since, as far as we know, there are no plans yet for 600 Main Street. So I guess, in my opinion, that ought to be considered. Again, you're just springing it on me. I know in the past some people had mentioned that maybe some kind of solar farm, solar array could be developed at that site. Hey, there could be worse things. They could wind up putting in some, I don't know. Well, we'll just say worse things. Yeah, I'm not going to mention specifically what they could wind up, because I don't want to give them ideas. But as things go with that site, that might actually be something viable and maybe helpful to the community. Certainly, right. I'm not sure at this point, given the location, what kind of environmental harm could be done. I mean, we already know the site is less than pristine because it had been used as Air Force Plant number 59 for several decades. So I'm sure there's still contamination at the site as well as next door at the legendary Gowdy Station. But I think I'll try to remember to mention that when the town supervisor Rob Mack is on the program.
But it just seemed like it would make a real good sense for this, because you're not building high tension lines; they're already there.
Yeah. Unless Kathy Hochul thinks she can use that site for a nuclear plant, which I don't think is viable, because I don't think there's enough water available, and it's also not not enough acreage for a real, even one of those smaller nuclear plants that they're talking about building. I don't think that is viable. But I do think that it might be appropriate to look into what you proposed.
And even if they had a cooling problem, the river's close by, as long as the Chesapeake Bay River Commission doesn't get in the way.
True. Anyway, I appreciate the idea. I'll try to run that by the town supervisor when we speak with him next.
Thank you. You have a much better chance of talking to him than I do.
Yeah, well, he will be coming up very soon. So I know I just talked to him a couple days ago, so he'll be coming on soon. Thank you. It's 11:50 WNBF. We're willing to ask some questions because sometimes questions must be asked. It's not impolite. It's just to get the kind of information that people need. The people need it. Now, I understand some people in the public eye, whether they're elected officials or maybe they're school district representatives, and they don't care much about the people. They want tax money to run their little operations, or in some cases big operations. They don't mind taking your tax money. That's what funds their operation. That's how they get paid, tax money. But they certainly don't want to be held accountable. And you know who they are, and they have their own good reasons in their mind for not answering your questions. But fortunately, we do have some local officials who are accessible and receptive and willing to answer serious questions. And we are grateful for those people who take their jobs seriously and understand that if you're working for the public, answering some basic questions, that's just part of the job. Don't think that. I know some people, well, I work for a school district, I run the school district, or I work for some village or whatever, and, the village people pay me, but I'll be darned if I answer any questions on a regular basis. That's not what I signed up for. I just signed up for the power, for the adulation, and for the cash. Everybody has their own approach. But you can judge people. You can judge people if they're willing to answer some questions, or, the people who are, well, I think secrets are good, but keep paying me. And by the way, I've approved a raise for myself and my accomplices because we deserve it. Just don't ask any questions. 607-772-1290. It's Wednesday morning. You're listening to WNBF. 607-772-1290. ABC News Radio. Coming up at noon. Maybe they'll have an exciting update about the solar eclipse. Maybe they'll have somebody in Majorca telling us how dark it is. Forecast from the National Weather Service, increasing clouds this afternoon, high 84. Mostly cloudy tonight with a chance of showers and thunderstorms. Then gradually becoming mostly clear, the low 62. There will be some patchy fog early tomorrow morning. Otherwise, partly sunny tomorrow, high 82. Mostly sunny on Friday, high 81. And for the weekend, a sneak preview. Not too bad. Mostly sunny Saturday, high 79, and partly sunny Sunday. Showers likely in the afternoon, high 80. And right now in downtown Binghamton, a sultry, put another quarter in the thermometer, 76. It's 24 Celsius at WNBF Radio. By the way, if you have news tips, we are very appreciative. And thankfully, in the last few days, we've received some very interesting news tips. That's a great thing. It does make a big difference. Really makes a big difference. Because I try to be looped in on a lot of things around here, but I don't know everything. So thank you. Thank you for our listeners or viewers, depending on how you look at it. We are very happy that you help to serve as our eyes and ears. Even now, let's see, we're getting tips. They're coming in even as I speak, news tips. So, which means, of course, thanks to the news tips, that means I can get out of the studio to take a closer look at precisely what's going on. That's what I do. Sometimes we get a tip and it doesn't pan out. Sometimes we get a tip and it turns out to be something very intriguing. So thanks for your help. Oh, here's a guy. He says he likes Meat Lovers pizza. Oh, and breakfast pizza with sausage. Or ranch chicken speedy pizza. He says there's some place where Janine Pirro got pulled over for speeding, and he claims that's a good place for pizza. Maybe she should have used that as an excuse when she allegedly was going 119 miles an hour as clocked by a New York State trooper. Maybe Janine Pirro should have pointed out to the trooper that, I was in a hurry to pick up a hot pie over there. And the trooper would say, that's just dandy. Go right ahead. You should have just told me. I'll follow you over there because the hot pies are so good there that I'm going to get one too. Let's have a race to see who can get to the pizza place first. First one there gets their pizza for free. Hey, that's our program for now. I will return tomorrow morning because I am Bob Joseph.
News, talk, and information for Binghamton and Central New York. This is News Radio, WNBF Binghamton, a Town Square media station.